There are moments in every person's life that change everything. Moments when reality suddenly becomes impossible to ignore. Moments when childhood ends, and responsibility takes its place. For Princess Leonor of Spain, many royal observers believe such a moment came far earlier than it does for most people. It was not marked by a dramatic announcement. There were no shocking headlines. No palace crisis. No public tears. Yet, according to those who have followed her journey closely, there came a point when Princess Leonor understood something deeply personal and profoundly life-changing. She realized that her future would never truly belong to her alone. And that realization may have changed the course of her entire life. Born in 2005, Leonor entered the world without knowing that history had already chosen a path for her. As the eldest daughter of King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia, she would eventually become the future Queen of Spain. But during her earliest years, life appeared relatively normal. Her parents made extraordinary efforts to protect both Leonor and her younger sister, Infanta Sofia, from excessive public attention. They wanted their daughters to experience as much normality as possible. School, friendships, family traditions, simple moments away from cameras. For a time, they succeeded. But royal life has a way of reminding people that destiny cannot remain hidden forever. Everything changed in 2014. When King Juan Carlos I abdicated and Felipe VI ascended the throne, 10-year-old Leonor officially became heir to the Spanish crown. Suddenly, the little girl standing beside her parents during ceremonies was no longer simply a princess. She had become the future queen. And with that title came expectations unlike anything most children could imagine. From that moment onward, her life would be defined by duty. As she grew older, the significance of her position became increasingly impossible to ignore. Public appearances multiplied, speeches became more important, the media followed her every step. People discussed her future constantly. And gradually, Leonor began to understand that the choices available to others might never fully exist for her. Most young people dream freely. They imagine careers, travel, love, adventures, unexpected possibilities. But for Princess Leonor, one truth stood above everything else. Her destiny had already been written. And perhaps that realization was the most difficult of all. Because becoming queen is not a profession one chooses. It is a responsibility one inherits. No application, no interview, no opportunity to simply walk away without consequences. History had made the decision long before she could understand its meaning. As she matured, that understanding likely became clearer. The crown represented honor, but it also represented sacrifice. Privacy, freedom, spontaneity, even ordinary experiences many people take for granted would always be affected by who she was. Royal experts have often spoken about the burden carried by heirs throughout history. The pressure can be overwhelming. Every action is analyzed, every friendship becomes a topic of discussion, every mistake is magnified, and every personal decision carries national significance. For Princess Leonor, these realities became part of daily life. Yet what impressed many people was not resentment. It was acceptance. Rather than rebel against her destiny, she appeared determined to prepare herself for it. That preparation became increasingly visible. Her speeches demonstrated growing confidence. Her public appearances revealed maturity beyond her years. And her commitment to military training further strengthened perceptions of responsibility and discipline. Still, behind the composed image stood a young woman confronting difficult truths. Because duty often demands sacrifice. And sacrifice can sometimes be lonely. Imagine knowing that millions of people have expectations for your future. Imagine understanding that your decisions will influence an institution centuries old. Imagine recognizing that there are aspects of life you may never experience in the same way as everyone else. That awareness alone could change anyone. And many believe it changed Princess Leonor forever. One reason the Spanish public feels such affection toward her is because they understand these sacrifices. People see not just privilege. They see responsibility. Not just titles, but expectations. Not just tradition, but enormous pressure. King Felipe VI understands this reality better than anyone. He spent decades preparing for responsibilities he could never escape. And because of that experience, he has always sought to guide his daughter with patience and wisdom. Observers have often noted the close relationship between father and daughter. The king appears deeply committed to ensuring that Leonor understands not only the obligations of the crown but also the values required to sustain it. Duty, integrity, humility, service. These principles have shaped his reign. And they appear to be shaping his daughter as well. Queen Letizia, meanwhile, has devoted herself to protecting and supporting Leonor throughout this journey. As a mother, she understands the emotional cost of raising a future queen. Her efforts to provide normal experiences, maintain family unity, and shield her daughters from unnecessary pressure have been widely recognized. Together, Felipe and Letizia have tried to balance tradition with modernity. But no amount of parental support can eliminate the fundamental truth. One day, Princess Leonor will carry responsibilities unlike those faced by almost anyone else. And perhaps that knowledge itself was the tragic realization that transformed her life. Not because becoming queen is a tragedy, but because accepting such a destiny requires sacrifices most people never have to consider. There are moments when that reality becomes visible. A speech delivered with remarkable composure. A ceremony attended with dignity. A challenge faced without complaint. Each one reminds the world that Leonor is preparing for a role much larger than herself. And with every passing year, she appears increasingly aware of what lies ahead. Royal commentators have pointed out that this awareness has contributed to her maturity. She seems thoughtful, measured, careful, not because she lacks personality, but because she understands the importance of her position. That understanding has earned admiration both inside and outside Spain. Even critics of the monarchy often acknowledge her seriousness and commitment. Because regardless of political views, many recognize the discipline required to live such a life. In recent years, her military training has further highlighted this commitment. Military service is demanding. It teaches perseverance, teamwork, and resilience. It places individuals in environments far removed from royal privilege. And Princess Leonor has embraced those challenges. That willingness to serve has strengthened public respect. Many Spaniards see it as evidence that she understands leadership requires effort, not entitlement. Perhaps that is why support for her remains strong. People sense sincerity, and sincerity inspires trust. Still, no amount of preparation can erase uncertainty. The future always brings unknown challenges. Spain itself continues to evolve. Society changes, expectations shift, institutions adapt. One day, Leonor will face questions and responsibilities that cannot be fully predicted. But those who know her journey believe she possesses qualities that may help her succeed: discipline, empathy, patience, and a quiet determination that has become one of her defining characteristics. Yet behind those qualities remains a truth that many find deeply moving. She never chose this life. It chose her, and understanding that reality may have been the moment everything changed. Not in sadness, not in despair, but in acceptance, because sometimes the most profound changes happen silently. No dramatic scenes, no public declarations, just a gradual understanding that life will demand more than anyone imagined. And perhaps that understanding transformed Princess Leonor from a young girl into the future Queen Spain now sees emerging before its eyes. Today, millions of people continue to follow her journey with admiration and affection. Not because they expect perfection, but because they recognize something profoundly human. The courage required to accept responsibilities that few would willingly choose. The strength required to continue despite enormous expectations. And the dignity required to place duty above personal desires. Those qualities are rare, and perhaps they explain why so many Spaniards believe in Princess Leonor's future. Because long before she wears a crown, she has already learned one of life's hardest lessons. That destiny sometimes asks difficult things from those chosen by history. And while that realization may have changed her entire life, it has also shaped the woman many hope will one day guide Spain into the future. A future built not only on tradition, but on sacrifice, responsibility, and quiet strength. And perhaps that is the legacy Princess Leonor is already beginning to